When Senator Joe Griffo was Mayor Joe Griffo, there was a blimp, the Budweiser blimp was going around the big concert. You remember that, Joe?
Absolutely. We had a lot of aircraft in the air back then, yeah, those are a lot of great ideas. It sounds like the old Keeler right now. You're really challenging all the creativity. I love that when the listeners and you really engage in some creative ideas. I've talked to Tim Reed, though, and I think he's really working hard on a number of different scenarios.
Yeah.
And I think it's really unfortunate, too, because even though they're still citing sequester at the Department of Defense, they have had a number of flyovers over different events. In fact, we even saw they did it over a rugby game. So,
wow.
This is a huge event. Obviously brings a lot of people in it. I think it's really worthy of a training mission, because you're not asking them to go out and do something that would add additional cost, but as part of a training experience.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity that exists. And I can tell you that Tim and I spoke yesterday, and we're talking to a few other people. We have another idea possibly that we're exploring, but that's the important thing now, what you're doing. Everybody contributing and coming up with ideas, and hopefully not only will it'll be a great day and a great race, but you'll come up with something, and then you still will continue to look at this possibility of flyover, because it makes a lot of sense. You see it happening at a lot of different sporting events already. So the question is not adding cost, but doing it in a way where they can undertake a training mission that would be close by.
I remember I got an opportunity to ride in the Budweiser blimp. And it was the coolest thing. And now remember, we're looking down on the on Woodstock. It was unbelievable to see the sights. It was, I don't know which day it was, but it was while the concert was going on. It was really something.
I didn't get that experience, so I'm sure that would have been really exciting to see something from the sky in a blimp like that. It's got to be a great experience.
Yeah, it was cool.
Up in a chopper. But
it was supposed to be your ride, Joe. I just told them I was Mayor Griffo, and they let me up. They had no idea.
Well, as long as you enjoyed it, though, that's good.
Yeah. All right. So, what do we think here on Dean Skelos? Do you think he's going to step down?
You know, it's really a step-by-step process right now, and I think it's an agonizing experience for a lot of people. I've known the leader now for 7 years, and I think he's been an effective leader. And he's a good and fair man, and so this is difficult. So when he speaks to the conference, as he has the other night for the first time, and outlines his perspective, you have mixed emotions, because you look at this and you're empathizing with an individual really has professed his innocence, and it's important that we remember our principles here and the presumption of innocence, and that makes it difficult, because you're looking at an individual who has given you and obviously can articulate point by point, but really when listening to that individual and looking at what complaint has been filed, you begin to wonder, where it is, and that's why you have a criminal justice system, because that opportunity exists then for that to evolve, and then for hopefully it to be resolved in a way that is fair. So that accusation, anytime anyone's accused of wrongdoing, it's a serious situation.
How is this?
The key here is whether it becomes a distraction from the work that we have to accomplish. And as I said, he has had a tenure as an effective leader. So he has been able, and I like the way his style has been, as he's involved the conference. We're a little different than the Assembly and the Senate, because we're smaller. We're more member-driven. They're more central staff and leadership-driven. So here they rely on the members more, chairman of committee, and our own staff. So it's a little different process. So I think the focus right now, as we continue to examine and evaluate the circumstances, is can we function properly, and can we continue to be effective?
How is this? How do you say this is different than Shelley Silver?
Well, I mean, I can't compare the criminal content. I would leave that up to the lawyers. The difference at this point in time is that, as I said, if you look at the way we run the Senate, and as long as the Senate can still function, if you remember when this occurred earlier, it was at the beginning of the budget process, so that was a troublesome situation.
Yep.
They had recommended a five-person kind of leadership sharing agreement, which would have been very convoluted and troublesome for trying to for negotiations. And then also, if you look at the way the assembly runs, it's a little different. Like I said,
right.
They rely more on the central staff and things of that nature. So you had, a power sharing agreement. You had something more coming out of central staff. You had it right in the middle of the budget. If you recall, they actually canceled session for a week. We have not even missed a day of session yet. We've been in yesterday, today. We're going in. Monday we went into session. Bills were passed. We've actually had a number of ceremonial events. Today is West Point Day here, where we honor the U.S. Military Academy, and so I think that's what we're going to continue to monitor. As I said, it's a step-by-step, day-by-day process right now.
So here's I have like 1 minute, and I got to cut you short. I'm sorry about that, but the so you're on the short list as potential leaders being named. What are your thoughts? Would you fit into that position? Would you think you have a shot at that?
Well, anytime that you're considered in something like that, I'm appreciative of, because it's a reflection, I think, of what I can contribute relative to my talents and skills, and I've been able to get along with a lot of people from a lot of different regions of the state. So I hope it's a reflection of respect. But at this point in time, I'm more interested in seeing that we focus on these issues, that we see what is going to happen, how it evolves, and if the leader continues to be able to lead, which at this point in time, as we've seen over the last few years, has happened. So,
would you agree that if these charges are real, I mean, we're talking about nepotism and using your position to help your kid and financially, would you agree that if these charges are true, if this really happened, he has no choice but to step down, and whatever happens in the court system can happen?
Well, see, that's the key there. I guess that's a great point that you make, and you've seen that before, where people have been accused and then later acquitted, and then they've lost everything. And if you remember the Secretary of Labor under President Reagan, Donovan, his name was, and he went and they was accused of some things, and it was really had to go through a similar type of process. And when he went into the courts, ultimately was acquitted. And when they said, now you're free to go, he said, where do I go to get my reputation back?
Yeah,
so I think that's the one thing that we're being a little more cautious.
Well, this Pre-Barrera seems to be pretty precise. This guy seems to be meticulous.
And there's still a number of cases, that are out there pending, and see how ultimately they're resolved through the criminal justice system.
All right, Joe. Good man. We appreciate it. Thanks. Good luck out there.
Talk to you.
See what happens. Who knows? He may be the Senate leader there before it's all said and done.